Hello everyone! Welcome to my kitchen, welcome to Cook and Scoop. Today is the hamburger day, but we're going to make a delicious homemade hamburger together. I actually have a friend coming tonight for dinner, and I asked my son what I should be making for my friend and for my family, and he wanted hamburgers. I'm going to be making the bread of the hamburger and the meat. So if you want to use just the bread that you bought from the supermarket, that's okay too. But today I want to make everything from scratch and with my love. So it's going to be another challenge, let's say. It's going to take time, especially the bread part will take some time. Since the bread dough has to wait at the different stages, I will start early, so it's going to be ready by the time we are ready for a delicious dinner. You have a look at the list of the ingredients, which is just coming now, and I am going to get my stuff ready, and then we start. Since I'm going to be making the bread myself, I decided to have this video in two parts. The first part would be the bread making part, and the second part is the hamburger, the meat part. So if you're going to buy the bread, if you don't want to go into the trouble of making the bread yourself, just skip the first part and go directly to the second part. Welcome to the first part of our homemade hamburger making video. So, the first part is very easy actually. We're just going to prepare the dough. It's not difficult. The only thing is it will take some time because we need to leave the dough to rest for 1 hour. So it will be better to start earlier. This is not something you can do at the very last minute. Before I start, I would like to give you some information about the yeast I'm going to be using. Today I'm going to be using actually the fresh yeast that I found at the supermarket like this, but you can also use the dry yeast that you can find in little packages like this. Normally, I would use the full fresh yeast, but this one is 42 grams, and it actually says on the package that this 42 grams is good for 1 kilo of flour that you're going to be using. I'm not going to be using 1 kilo of flour today. I'm just going to be using half of it, half a kilo. So I'm planning to use half of this. But if you're going to use a dry one, use 2 of them. We're going to start by putting our water and milk. The thing is, they have to be in room temperature. Don't take it out of the fridge and immediately use them. So I'm going to be using 125 milliliters of water and 200 milliliters of milk, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, and I'm going to be using half of this fresh yeast, and it corresponds to 21 grams actually. So just roughly do this. By using a whisker, I'm going to whisk them so that everything dissolves well. This is going to take like 1-2 minutes, not too long. Again, if you're not using the fresh yeast but the dry one, use 2 packages. Everything dissolved well, the sugar and the yeast and the flour. I am going to leave this for 10-15 minutes, and then we will continue with the second stage. It's been 15 minutes. Let me show how it turned out. I'm very happy with it. It looks like a creamy or a little bit liquidy yogurt texture. Let's continue. Now what I'm going to do is add 1 egg, 1 spoon of salt, coffee spoon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. If you like, you can use sunflower oil or any other vegetable oil, but I like using olive oil. So And I have 500 grams of flour here that I will be putting here. From now on, what I'm going to do is to knead the dough. I'm going to be using this. You can use your hands, but it will be quite difficult and challenging, but doable. If you like doing everything with your hands, you can do that. Or you can do it with this huge kitchen robot, they call it, or kitchen appliance, the very famous one. This is going to make some noise. So I'm going to be doing this for about like 6-7 minutes at least. Okay, I think it's ready right now. It's been 6 minutes and I'm very happy with the outcome. You can see it's quite a sticky dough. That's how it should be. I'm just going to cover this with a stretch film so that there's no air coming in, and I'm going to let this sit for 1 hour. So the dough is ready. I'm going to let this rest in the room temperature for 1 hour. It has been 1 hour, and as you can see, our dough has risen up so good. It's ready. Now I'm going to shape them. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flour here, roughly, so that it does not stick to my counter. As you can see, it's quite a sticky texture, and that's actually how it should be. So I'm just going to be kneading it a little bit more with the flour so it's not sticky. Normally you can get 12 hamburger breads from this much of dough. Obviously we're not going to be eating 12 hamburgers tonight. So what you could do is you can put them in the freezer, and whenever you need it later on, you can take them out, put it in the oven, warm it up, and then it will be as if you have just done it. So now I'm just going to cut this into equal pieces, but since I'm going to bake it in the oven in 2 batches, I'm going to start with this one. Okay, if I can make 1, 2, 3, oops, you can use flour, 4, 5, and 6. We're just going to make a round shape. And this is ready. I'm putting it on my tray that I prepared. If you're not going to use the cooking paper, if you're not going to use the cooking paper, make sure that you put some oil on the tray so that they don't get stuck to the tray. Actually, I'm keeping my palm like this and I'm pressing it with the other one. You can see how easy it is to have a round shape like this. It is so soft, it's a perfect dough, I would say. It might look small to you like this, but they're going to get bigger in size because I'm going to let them sit another 45 minutes, and you're going to be surprised how big they become. So I shaped my bread, and one in the shape of a heart. Hopefully it's going to work out well. Let's see what happens. I'm going to cover this up with a cloth, and then I will let it rest for another 45 minutes. Welcome back. Let's have a look at how our bread dough has done. Wonderfully well. Well, I'm afraid my heart shape didn't really work out, but it's okay, I tried. So all I'm going to do right now is to put some egg yolk, but I'm going to brush it on very, very gently. You don't want to ruin all this puffiness. Okay, I'm just going to gently put that on. In the meantime, I had been preheating my oven at 180 degrees. So we're going to put these babies in the oven at 180 degrees for about 40 minutes. But what I'm going to do, depending on how it looks, I might get the temperature down to 160 after the 25th or after half an hour. We're going to have to wait and see, because all the ovens are different, so the result might be different as well. So you don't want to burn it. We will be just checking from time to time to make sure that we have the best result. So this is almost ready. One last thing that I want to do is put some sesame seeds and black cumin seeds. Okay, they're ready to go in the oven for 40 minutes. Welcome back. It's ready. I'm just going to take them out of the oven. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, don't they look gorgeous? I think they turn out to be really well. Welcome to the second part of our video. In this part, we're going to make the meat of the hamburger. It's very, very easy. I have the minced meat here. Ideally, the kind of minced meat that you're going to be using is the breast part of the calf. It's beef, but it is known that it is the best part for hamburger meat. We're going to be using some salt, pepper, per taste, I would say, but I normally use 1 coffee spoon of salt for 500 grams of beef, minced beef, and a little bit of ground black pepper. Actually, my son doesn't like it too much, so I tend to use a pinch of it, not too much, but if you like it, you can put more. I use ketchup as well. So for 500 grams of minced meat, I use 1 coffee spoon of ketchup. And because my son loves it, I'm going to be using pomegranate syrup as well. Again, 1 coffee spoon. Since I'm making this for my guests tonight, I'm going to be using more meat, so the amounts might look more than what I told you. But the amount that I have given you is for 500 grams of meat, and this could be good for 3 people. So you can have a good size 3 hamburgers with this. What I'll do right now is to get everything together. I have the meat in here. I'm adding my salt, a little bit of ground black pepper, the ketchup, and our very famous pomegranate syrup. Okay, all we need to do right now is mix them well. The meat is ready. Normally for 500 grams, you can divide the minced meat into 3 equal parts, and then you can shape them. What we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the meat, and then try to make a round shape with your hands. And then start squeezing it. And try to shape it up at the sides, squeeze it a little bit more. The reason why we are squeezing the meat like this is to stick them together so that when you squeeze it, it's not going to tear apart. The burgers are ready. What I'm going to do right now is to cook them. I'm going to be using a nonstick pan. And first I'm going to make it hot, and then I'm going to put them in there, and on both sides I'm going to cook them really well. I think each of them will take about like 5-6 minutes at least on each side. So I think we're ready. The burgers are ready, but I want to make sure that the inside of the burgers are cooked well as well, and I need a lovely juicy texture. So what I'm going to do right now is put them in the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees. I took the hamburgers out of the oven and they're perfectly cooked, and you can see the juice as well. So the bread is ready. We already completed the meat part, the burger part of it as well in the second part of this video. So all I'm going to do right now is to get the two together and present it to you in a nice way. Let's see what kind of a presentation I will have for you guys. Welcome back. I am ready to present you our homemade hamburger. And I will be serving it with the potato salad I made today. We enjoy our homemade hamburger quite often at home, and since it's summer, that will be great as well. I hope you liked it. I hope you make it too. It takes some time, but it is great because we did everything from scratch. And I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it too. I hope you liked it, and if you liked it, why don't you press that like button, and if you want to, you can subscribe to my channel as well, and don't forget to press that notification button so that you can be informed about my upcoming videos. You can also follow me on my Instagram at Cook and Scoop. We will be making many more delicious recipes together, so I hope to see you next time. Have a lovely and delicious day. Bye bye.